today's experiment, we are going to explore magnetism. From your kit, you'll need a few things. First, take one of your beakers. Then you can choose a test tube and then take the cap off, set it to the side. Also, of course, you're going to need some magnets, so take your bar magnet, take a couple of your ring magnets here, and then you're going to need these two small bags. One contains black iron filings inside. Filings is just a word that means small pieces of iron. And then you're going to need the bag that has white sand inside. Okay? So I've already poured about half of each out onto one of my paper plates. You can use regular plates, whatever you want. And I am going to split up the plates. I've mixed it up a little bit. My fingers are a little dirty, but that's okay. Okay, then what I'm going to do next is take my magnet, and I'm going to use my beaker, and I'm just going to slide the magnet right into the beaker. It doesn't matter if the black or the red side is down, totally fine. And my goal here is to separate out the iron filing mixture from the sand and make them two different piles. And this seems kind of impossible because they're pretty mixed up. But what we're going to do is use the power of the magnet to attract these iron filings, kind of jump them up and move them over. The sand is not magnetic. So let's begin here. And just kind of shake it around. And sometimes the force of the small iron filings as they're trying to reach the magnet is going to be so strong it's going to pick up sand with it. So just shake it around. You'll drop a little bit of the iron, but that's okay. And it'll look like hair kind of coming off of it. And just bring it over to your next plate and then just pull up the magnet and let the filings drop. And make sure that your magnet doesn't directly touch the filings, because what happens is the force of magnetism is so strong they get really stuck and it's hard to get off. You can't just brush them off, you kind of have to pick them off. And so just keep doing the same process over and over. Kind of hover your beaker with the magnet over the first mixture and bring it over and drop it. And it cleans it up pretty nicely, actually. It becomes really fun. You can just go around all around the edges of the plate, and any little black filings you see, just hover around them, come over, drop them. Okay. I think I've got it pretty good, and it does such a beautiful job of cleaning it up because it perfectly separates them out. As we use magnetism, the filings love the magnet, the sand has no interest at all. So I'm going to drop the rest of it over, and what you'll have is you'll have a pile of perfectly white sand and a pile of black iron filings. You can do the same thing also using your test tube. Just slide the magnet in and hover it around, and you can bring it up. You can start and shake it around a little bit to see what happens when different motions interact with the magnet. So how much force, how hard do you have to shake it to get those filings to drop? Because if I just move it like this, not much drops. It's pretty sturdy, pretty strong. I have to really shake it down to get them to drop off. And so you can just move it a little bit. You can move it back over, mix it up again. It's not as easy because you have to slide the bar magnet out in order to get them to drop. So, but it's one option. Or you can take your ring magnets and place them, lay them flat inside of your beaker. They're going to want to jump up and attach to each other, but that's okay. Just kind of mess around with it till you can get them to lay flat. You have to fight with them. The power of magnetism is strong. It's serious business. They really want to be close to each other, okay? So I have them laying flat. You can see kind of like two little eyes. And I'm just going to hover this over and pick up some more over here. And if you can see, I'll hold them still. Looks like eyes and eyelashes, okay? And then just pull up and let it drop. You also can take string and tie to the ring magnets and hang them down into the beaker and pull them up to see what happens. That's also an option. And just play around with it until you kind of get the hang of it and you feel really comfortable with being able to clean up the filings from the sand. For me, I'm just having a lot of fun with just seeing them jump and make little forms and shapes. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Just keep exploring and have a lot of fun and see what you can do. For our next experiment with magnetism, you're going to need some of the same objects, some paper plates or regular plates, you'll just have to wash them, your bar magnet, 2 of your ring magnets, 1 of your test tubes, a beaker, and of course the sand and iron filings. This experiment is a little more artistic in nature because we are going to use the magnets to make designs with the filings. We have this good color contrast here with the white sand and the black filings, and so do I want to use the beaker this time? Yeah, I'll try it. And so what happens is you get a really cool setup for making a nice design. So I'm going to move my iron filings to mix up with my sand, kind of crunch it up a little bit, move them over. Okay. Then, pull my magnet away. I'm going to take my test tube, I'm going to put the bar magnet inside, and I'm just going to drag the iron filings and kind of shake them out a little bit, drop them around, and swirl them about with the sands and the iron filings. And it looks a lot like galaxies, actually. It's quite fun. Just shake it. You can make faces. You can pull some over and make some bushy eyebrows. You can use the white sand to make like a white mustache with big black bushy eyebrows or a black beard or eyes. Just feel free to explore and have a lot of fun with it because it's not often that you get to play with something that has its own attractive force. You can also take different things from around your house. Maybe you have some glitter or sequins and mix it in and see the contrast between the black iron filings and the sparkly colors to also make more designs. Let's see, I'm going to pull this through. And I'm going to try one more time with just one ring magnet in the bottom of my beaker. And I am going, this is my favorite. Gonna make, it looks just so much like an eye. And I'm just gonna practice. I've been practicing and practicing. I just wanna drop it and see if it'll drop in a circle. But for me, it never will. I'm gonna try and pull it up and see if I can get to drop in a circle. It's gonna take me a lot more practice. Maybe if I had it tied to a string. Whoop. If you have other magnets around your house, maybe on your refrigerator, you can try and do the same thing. Yeah. I'm going to keep practicing and see what I can come up with. For our next experiment, we're going to continue with our iron filings and our sand, and you're going to need just a plastic bag. Okay? Now to start off with, I'm going to use some more of just the plain iron filings. You can also separate them out using the magnets as we did in the previous experiment to put in the bag. But I'm just going to put a very little bit in. Maybe about a quarter of a teaspoon worth. I'm not totally sure how much that is, but you can choose. If you want to put it all in, that's totally fine. Okay, so put your magnetic filings in, and then you can lay the bag out flat in front of you. I think it'll work better if I move everything to this plate. I have this plate. I'm going to lay it on the plate so I can see it better. It looks kind of like graphite from a pencil. It's dark. It makes your fingers kind of dirty a little bit. Let me get the air out of this bag. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bar magnet and I'm just going to I'm going to rub it over the bag. and I'm going to see what designs I can make. The power of magnetism is not stopped by the plastic bag. No way. No way. What you've got to do is you've got to explore and see, okay, how can I control it and how far do I have to pull the magnet up and away from the bag before the iron filings stop reacting to the magnetism. So as I'm watching it, and you can use a ruler and measure it if you like, as I'm watching it, I have to pull my magnet up about 3 or 4 centimeters away before those iron filings finally settle down. And then I'm going to lower it again and see how far away. Yeah, I'm at about 3 centimeters and they're already starting to move, knowing that this magnet is nearby. I'm going to lower it very slowly, and they're already jumping to the top layer of the bag. They really want. Okay, I'm going to just pull it, and I'm not going to put the magnet directly on the iron filings. I'm going to keep it about 1 centimeter in front of them, and I'm just going to drag the magnet and have them follow it. Even if you do it fast, it'll keep a space behind, and it's like a small little train if you want. Okay, I'm just going to drag it around. Just make designs and see. This makes an easier way also to make a face, because you can just pull the iron filings directly where you want and then pop up, and they stay where you left them. Oop, if you don't bend the bag too much. I'm just working on making a little face. You can make a cat, you can make a flower, whatever you like. Alternatively, you can add other things to it, like glitter or sequins, and see what kind of designs you can make, because the magnets will only affect the iron filings. So I'm going to put my bar magnet away. I'm going to take one of my ring magnets and I'm going to place it over and see just what happens. If you get very good, you can pop the magnet up and leave perfect rings. It's cool because if you have a pile, what happens is you have a pile of iron filings and you put the round magnet on top, everything that's in the center will separate out and make a donut shape because it just wants to go to where only the magnet is. So it'll immediately make a little hole, just like a little iron donut. So just explore and see what works for you, what kind of shapes you can make. Maybe you have a square magnet. Maybe you have magnets in cool shapes. I have a magnet collection myself. Hi there. For our next experiment with magnetism, of course you're going to need your ring magnets and your bar magnet. You can use one of your test tubes, a beaker, and of course your iron filings, and 2 pieces of paper. So I've already poured out some of my iron filings out onto 1 piece of paper. I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm going to take the second piece and lay it flat on top. And if you have a light directly overhead, it makes it very nice because you can see the black iron filings underneath. I'm going to take one of my ring magnets and I'm going to lay it on top of the paper. And if you just feel it, you'll feel that strength, that those iron filings in there are trying to hold the magnet to it. You think, I just got 2 pieces of paper, but with those iron in between, the iron filings as a layer, you feel that strength. It's enough to make it, let's see here, to make it want to stick those papers together here. Okay, so I'm going to take the top paper off really quick, and I can see that I've got it in just kind of a few clumps. So I want to surprise myself. I'm going to take my bar magnet, and I'm just going to kind of blindly draw a picture. In this case, I'm going to try and make a kind of flower. I'm just going to drag the magnet around on the paper in the shape of what I think a flower should look like. Obviously, I can't really see what's going on under the paper, but I'm going to try and see what happens here. Okay, and then I'm going to lift up my paper. It could be a happier flower, but I've at least got a few petals and a center, okay? It's not perfect. It's going to need some practice. So I'm going to kind of try and smooth it out a little bit and check it. Yeah, and then I'm going to see if I can make maybe an easier shape. Maybe I'll make a heart and try and pull them. And it's important not to press down on the top paper too much, because then what happens is you've got not enough space in between for the iron filings to move. So this is one option you can do. Let's see here. Yay! I made a heart. I'm quite happy. It's not beautiful, but it's a heart. Okay? The other aspect of this, though artistic, if you take one of your magnets and lay it on top and try and pull it, it's going to pull the paper up with it. Why do you think that is? If you carefully lift it up and look underneath, you will see the reason why. Ah! Let me try it again. Okay, let me try it with the bar. It worked better with this one. Gotta get a big pile, because these iron filings really want to be with this magnet so badly that they are willing, if you can see here, they are trying to attract to it, but the paper's in the way, but they don't care. They are holding that magnet straight, and so they are holding the paper as well. So you can try and see what other things you can lift. Perhaps paper, maybe a small piece of plastic. Maybe there are other things that are magnetic that work better. There are certainly stronger magnets in the world. But this is enough to give you an idea of the power of magnets. And magnets are used in many industries. If you go to an old car lot where they crush up old cars, you might see a really, really big magnet that picks up cars, because cars are metal, picks them up and moves them. And this is the same principle, just on a very tiny scale. This is certainly not a car, but whoop, you get the general idea. And you can also add different layers of plastic and see how many layers you have to stack before the magnets don't work anymore, before that attraction can't be reached. So, yeah, I'm going to try one last thing. I really want to make a star, so I'm going to see if I can do it. Just kind of gently. You kind of have to just keep your finger on the corner of the paper, otherwise the attraction from the filings to the magnet is going to, of course, pull the paper up like it has been. Okay, I'm just kind of drawing a star. General, this is not going to go well, I think. Yeah, it doesn't look like a star. But then again, I could use a lot more practice. For our next experiment with magnetism, you're going to need a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll. It really doesn't matter what size it is. And a piece of paper or something to protect your workspace. You're going to, of course, need your magnets again and your iron filings. I've already poured some of my iron filings into a beaker. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to see the power of magnets through a thicker layer. This is pretty thick, strong cardboard, okay? And what we want to do is see, can we move the cardboard with the magnets using the iron filings? Can we make designs on the outside? There are a lot of things you can actually do with it. So I've got my beaker, and I am going to first pour some of the iron filings out on my paper, just on the outside. Okay, and then I'm going to take my bar magnet, or you can use your ring magnets and tie strings onto them to make it easier to kind of move through the tube. But I'm just going to take my bar magnet, kind of lay it in there, and hover it over my pile of iron filings. You can see. And then I'm going to kind of tip it a little bit and slide my magnet down the tube and watch what happens on the outside. It looks kind of like a caterpillar moving. If you look, it'll follow. Let me pick up a few more. As the magnet slowly slides down, I'm going to see if I can get it to go down. It moves. Oh, that was fast. I'm going to do it slower. It's probably easier with the toilet paper roll. So I'm going to slowly move it, and it's like a caterpillar. Oop. Pick up more. Come on, come on. Yeah. It's just like a caterpillar moving along. Yeah, he's losing some of his fur, but he's kind of walking on the outside, on the under, like kind of like under a branch. Okay, I'm going to pull my magnet out. Well, I'm going to try and pull it out with up and out. I don't want so many filings on my magnet. Okay? Then I'm going to take my ring magnet and try the same thing. I'm just going to put it in there. It's a little bit easier to slide. I'm going to slide it. There it is. I'm not sure where exactly it is, so I'm just going to, let's see. Okay, I'm not totally sure where it is. I'm just going to lay it over and see if I can find it. Okay, I know now exactly where it is because I can see that there is a ring on the outside of my paper tube, my cardboard tube, where the ring magnet is. I'm going to roll it, and as that ring magnet slides around on the inside, the filings on the outside chase it. Kind of cool, huh? And slide it this way, slide it that way. Ooh, no! See, this is why you want to avoid getting the magnets directly in the filings, because the force of attraction is so strong that they don't want to get off. They don't want to jump off. They just kind of want to stick, and then it makes it a little messy. But that's okay. I'm going to pull off as much. It's kind of like, feels like it got all hairy. I'm going to pull off as much as I can. Okay? That's good enough. Okay? And so feel free to explore, cut some slots in your tube maybe to make it easier to control the magnet inside. Like I said, you can use strings. You can try and see what other items are magnetic. Let's see. I'm going to take the rest of my filings and I'm going to pour them into my beaker here. I'm going to cap the end of the tube off with my hand. And I'm going to pour some inside without letting them all fall out. Okay, I'm just going to okay, I've got iron filings. I don't know if it's strong enough to work this way to pick up the magnet. Ah, it jumped, definitely. Let's see if I can kind of get them focused in an area. Yeah. Aha! I picked it up. The more iron filings you have, the stronger it's going to be, the better able they are going to be able to pick up the magnet because the force of attraction is stronger. If I filled my whole tube with iron filings, I could line up all three magnets and pick them up no problem, but I didn't fill it so full. So feel free to explore and see what things work. If you have, for example, a piece of metal that's magnetic, you can put it inside of the tube and lay it and pop up all the magnets. That's not a problem. If you have other ideas for things that you can do, let me know. I would be so interested to know what other experiments I can try and share. And yeah, I'll see you next time.